Hello, this is Joon-Ho Lee, professor at Dong University. Let me make a presentation about our paper, and I'll share the screen of PowerPoint 5. Yeah, the title of our paper is the Reconsideration of the Values and Roles of Local Media in the Process of Media Ecosystem Change. It cooperates with the Suk Kyoung Won and me. I'm the corresponding author, and Suk Kyoung Won is another author. Yes, the contents of this paper consists of the first introduction, the second literature review and research questions, and the method and fourth results of the analysis, and the last conclusion. Yeah, let me begin with the introduction of this paper. Yeah, let me read through the whole point of the introduction part. First, various and lingering symptoms of declines of local communities have been spread throughout South Korea. There is a purpose that many Korean local universities and colleges will disappear in the order of cherry blossoms blooming. Makes it sense. Desertification and the extinction of local societies are becoming a main social stream due to the decline of local industries and corporations. To the shrink and aging of local population, to the meager financial status of local governments, and to the inferior conditions of local medical, welfare, and educational systems. Local mass media are important communication platforms that contribute to realization of democracy, locality, the diversity and the viability of local economy. Nevertheless, local media are considered another surplus medium by those who believe that Seoul's interest must supersede other regions and face severe competitions against other media, regardless of their intrinsic public responsibility to raise locality in the age of digital media abundance. Therefore, this study tries to investigate the present problems and decline of Korean local media, their regions, and new values and roles of local media, the new media ecosystem. The next part is the literature review and the main research questions. The first section of it is localism and local identity. First thing is realization of locality and localism is very closely related to public interest of mass media. Public values of local media can be achieved through locality, universality, and diversity of media content and services. They normally consist of local information supply, surveillance, forming public opinions, providing solutions for community affairs, and transmission of local culture and arts. At times, localism embraces wider aspects of the public interest, such as diversification of information, protection of diversity and pluralism, and the encouragement of civil participation in the democratization processes. It also provides local communities with the solidarity of residents and functions as an incubator of local values, culture, and traditions. One of the initial and inevitable elements to promote localism and to develop local communities is local administration, local news management, and local media content provision and management. Local identity is a variable social formation made in long-term processes of interactions or dialogues regarding relationships among economic and political interests of confronting regions and their values. The second section is the roles and values of local media. Local media are core links for community life and communication, and are very strongly involved in formation of locality and local identity within their coverage area. Local terrestrial television and radio, local newspapers, cable operators, and community media are responsible for several important norms at both micro and macro levels. The norms at micro level include increasing local solidarity and identity, and constant provision of information necessary for daily lives. At macro level, the local media are responsible for realization of basic civil rights, such as right to access to media and to express opinions by providing public spheres of communication. In addition to the traditional mass media, internet-based new digital media such as social network services, instant messengers, and customized services increasingly play an important role in quick, massive, and creative productions and distributions of local information and content. The next section is about the new media ecosystem. As you see in the drawings, this formation and this system is consisting of CP&D structure. C means contents, P is platform, N is network, and D is device. If any one of these components disappeared or becomes very weak, then the other parts, the other subsystem will be gone. So they're very closely interrelated, and they depend on each other very strongly. So these are we call this system is actually ecosystem and the value chain, or etc. Anyway, we call it the new media environment and or new media ecosystem. So the upper part describes the regulative status for each part of the ecosystem. The lower part presents the economic aspect, especially the competitive level within each industry. So to look at them roughly, then first thing is that over 90% of markets of local newspapers have moved to the web from paper packaged media, and they have to compete nationwide newspapers. This naturally leads readers to nationwide and international news rather than local news. Media ecosystem consists of CP&D structure as shown figure 1, as I said, due to the technological advances of internet and severe competitions within each category. Each category is content providers, platforms, and devices of mass media. The proportion of traditional local media and communication have shrunk. Yeah, the last part of this last section of this part is research questions. We generated the core research questions that follows. 2 research questions actually. The first question is, what are the reasons for decline or extinction of local media? The other research question is, what are the realistic and reasonable values and roles of local media? Then to solve these problems, then we use the following method. This is very special case to solve the problem, because the problem, as we already suggest, that is very a professional view. So it can be answered by very experienced or professional experts. So we need to make interviews with specialists or professionals, experts in the media industry or academically advanced person. So it will be more effective to listen to media specialist opinions and suggestions, and to solve these questions in this paper. And the 9 local media professionals and experts, including professors, media activists, and practitioners, local media committee members, and NGO members were invited to face-to-face in-depth interviews from January to March 2022. The interviewer asked specific questions related to research questions and let the respondents answer freely. All the interviewees were residing and working in Busan metropolitan city, because local residents tend to have intensively thought about the enhancement of locality and development of local mass media. The interviewees' ages were from late 30s to early 60s, and 3 out of 9 were female. It took about 2 hours to perform interviews per respondent. Yeah, this table is the characteristics, the individual traits of the interviewees. Their ages from 30s, 60s, 3 females, and very diverse professions. The result, let me show the result of the analysis or the interview for a series of interviews of 9 respondents. First result is the majority of the in-depth interviewees agreed with that local extinction and local media decline are happening simultaneously. They commonly argue that there rarely is local identity, although the local lands and people exist. They also pointed out that local media in Busan and vicinities didn't serve the residents satisfactorily. All the interviewees pointed out that the media in the community are not the local media in the strict sense. Local media, which exclude local people, are not real local media, but the media that operates locally. Knowing what the local people are thinking is the mission of the local media. Nevertheless, the gaze of local media turned outward and otherized the local people. This situation is predicted to be one of the reasons that has led to the decline of local media and disappearance of communities. There's so many, the results, the second part of the result section, it continues to read, I'll continue to read the results. It is important that the region goes beyond the spatial meaning and forms a spiritual empathy regarding the daily life of local people. In this vein, the role of the local media is further emphasizing the life-oriented aspect. They commonly argue that there rarely is local identity, although the local lands and people exist. A majority of interviewees confirm the principle. The ideal local media must sustain their inherent and essential roles and duties. Although it's important to adapt themselves to rapidly changing media ecosystem, local media that exclude the participation of interference of local people does not exclude their values. If the local media encompassed to community media, one-person media, cable broadcasting, etc., that were created and developed in digital environments, in addition to the legacy media. The local media not declining, but rather evolving by needs of the residents. Also, it is necessary to develop local media into platform for the local people, the community, and the outside world, rather than a gatekeeper, and to integrate them into the lives of the local people. The conclusion, the following 4 ways. First, we thought to find the crisis and the values of the existence of local newspapers in the standpoint of the community and local people. It is common point that the local newspapers in Korean society did not have the information and touch that the local people needed. There was a lot of consensus that the decline of the local media should be explored not by external factors but by internal factors. If the local media encompassed to community media, one-person media, cable broadcasting, etc., that were created and developed in digital environments, in addition to legacy media, the local media not declining, but rather evolving by needs of residents. The last conclusion is that there are many examples of win-win between local citizens, community organizations, and the local media on the cooperative ground. This shows that it is more important for the local media to be an intimate neighbor to the local people than to adopt the best technology and activate the fortunes. Yeah, I finished to make the presentation of my paper about local media and various factors that have made the local media that, decline and the extinctive status. So we hope that the result and the conclusions of this paper can provide the local society in the world, as well as South Korea, with some more valuable insight to make it better, make their conditions much better than now. Thank you for listening my presentation.